This our show, and we talk about everything, and we talk about everything. Royal Flex the Brand's on Introspective Insight right now. Peace, love, and all that good stuff. I am KingDevDoe, and this is Royal Flex the Brand's Introspective Insight talk show, the Black Wall Street podcast. And as y'all know, I went right into it. Yeah, girl, China, Noelle. Nah, she China this week. And Shannon Williams. They not here. As you can't hear them. Watch, listen for them. Yeah, see, they not here because, they not here. I don't even know. Life happens, I guess. And so now they left me to do the show by myself. But it's cool because I'm here to talk. We got a lot to talk about. I'm going to try to get this as long as possible. But y'all know I don't like talking to myself. But we're going to make it happen today. So the word of the show is Rafiki. And y'all know Rafiki means friend. One of my favorite characters from Lion King. Shout out to Rafiki. And then the quote of the show is traveling is learning from the Kenyan proverb. Me personally, I love traveling. And I feel like you learn the most about yourself and culture. Speaking of culture, that's our main topic of the day, what we're gonna be covering. But you learn about different cultures, you learn about different people, you learn different languages, and you get to explore on a more grander level. And so I thought that was cool. And I'm going to Japan next week, so we're not gonna have a show next week. Well, we are gonna have a show next week. It's gonna be released, but it's gonna be live from Japan. It's gonna be a special show. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for that. But traveling is learning, and I'm a firm believer in it.
I know this is off topic like a motherfucker, so I ain't gonna expound on it. But
all right, so the off topic for this week, I want to talk about, because I'm an education head. I feel like that's my niche. That's one of my niches. That's probably why I got into podcasting, and that's why I'm kind of the podcast guru. Here in the Rochester area. So let's talk about the HBCUs and plus just college in all totality. But specifically HBCUs because this is Introspective Insight, the Black Wall Street podcast, where we're looking to reinforce and reinstate that Black Wall Street mentality of being self-sufficient and kind of rebuilding and generating generational wealth. And my bro Dev, shout out to Dev, Horace Consulting, Mr. OK is Essential, my bro is worth at least $500K right now. Like that's his net worth right now. Big ups to him. But he did a live Instagram live on this article that the New York Wall Street Journal released. The Wall Street Journal released, and talking about how the student debt crisis hits hardest at historically black colleges. And as I read through the article, I'm like, wow, jeez, what you mean to tell me? Type thing. Like those are my reactions and things of that nature. And what really gets me is we go as black people, we want to be, for us, by us. We want to go into our own spaces and we want to kind of brag about being our own spaces, right? But it's our own spaces that put us in the hole a majority of the time because we're not financially literate enough to kind of be ahead of the game. So, and what that means is in private and public HBCUs, the percentage of undergraduate students with loans are 75% and 70%. 75% for private HBCUs, 70% in public HBCUs. Non-HBCUs private is 51, non-HBCUs public is 41, and in the for-profit schools out there is 56. Even still, that's way cheaper than the HBCUs public and private. And we tend to go to HBCUs to, for that glory to say, I went to, HU. I went to Howard. I went to NCCU. I went to these prestigious predominantly black colleges, spaces, historically black spaces, and I'm among the top elite. I'm a lawyer that came from Howard. That's we want to go and kind of just be able to say things like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a black activist, so I support black people. I support the black community. This, that, and the third, right? So we tend to use our culture. There go that word again. We tend to be around our culture and use that for kind of bragging rights, which is good because we got everything to brag about. Every single thing that we do, we should be able to brag about it and to its highest regard. But let's talk about this for a second. There's no reason why we should have to go to there's no reason why we should put ourselves in debt because we're going to our own institutions and universities, right? So that's like us going into the hood and going in debt because we living in the hood. So instead of going to the hood, now we gotta go to the alternative and go out to Whitesville to kind of just make ends meet and be comfortable and be stable type thing. You know what I'm saying? So when I looked at that, when I read that, I'm like, dang. So we getting all these bragging rights, and we're basically going to these schools for these bragging rights and this prestige honor to say we went to Howard or NCCU or whatever the other ones are. I can't think of them. Spelman. I can't think of none of them. And we really we got to understand that we have to be financially literate in order to make the most out of our experiences. In the article, it said one particular person, he took out $24K in loans, and his dad, took out $91K in loans to help him out to get through school. When you add up the numbers for the 4 years, he's over $100,000 in debt. To this day, this was in 2015. He took out the loan. To this day, he's only paid on the principal since he's been out of school. So he still got $20K left on top of the 91 that his dad took out. Crazy. That's insane. Me personally, now kind of shifting away from the HBCUs because we need to kind of take our predominantly black spaces and warp them into something different outside of this college industrial complex. But just college in general, sis, bros, kings, queens, it's a scam. The college industrial complex is real, and you just think about this for a second. They don't want to give us business loans. They don't want to give us mortgages. They don't want to give us none of that stuff that we will actually benefit from long term, right? But they'll give us, and these is like, business loan could be $10,000. Business loan could be $5,000. Shoot, a business loan could be $2,000, right? They won't give it to us, but they'll give us a $24,000 loan over 4 years. Or really, that's just for easy math. They give us a $25,000 loan over 4 years. So then we would have to pay back $100,000 6 months after we're out of school. Just willingly give it to it. Like, you don't got to check credit, nothing. They just give you, here, take it. Go get that paper. Piece of paper, not the paper as in the money, the green, not that paper. We talking about this certificate that says that you completed the coursework, so you are proficient in this field. So they're willing to give us just throw this money out at us for a better future, quote unquote, but they won't give us business loans and things of that nature. Like, that's crazy. I was just talking about U of R yesterday, I think it was yesterday. University of Rochester, for those who are not in Rochester that's listening to the show, shout out to y'all. And I was, as I've been Ubering this week because I've been off work, and I noticed that U of R is everywhere. The U of R health centers, whether it's urgent care or anything like that, is all over the place. And I'm like, dang, Well, what they need student tuition for? Cause they tuition is high. Cause I think it's a private school. So I'm like, dang, all that stuff. And I was talking to one of my homies, and she was gonna do I think the nursing program, master's program over there, and they're trying to charge her. It was a private loan that she was gonna take out, and she sent me the little screenshot. Bro, the private loan was for like over $100,000 for just 2 years, covering only 2 years out of a 3 or 4 year program. That's crazy. So you want me to take out this loan? The repayment plan says that I have to pay, I think it was like $600 a month for the next 10 years to cover what I borrowed, just so I can go to a job and not make even remotely enough to cover that and live comfortably. Y'all crazy. So that was the off topic for today. I just want y'all to kind of think about that. HBCUs is great, but me as a black man that support black everything, I'm pro black, right? Shout out to my black business owners, my black entrepreneurs, motivational speakers, just all my black excellence out there, melanin, melanin gods and all that stuff, right? Shout out to all y'all. But let's be strategic about how we get our education. College is supposed to enhance and advance, not stress and digress. All right? So, with that being said, that was I'm doing good right now talking to myself a little bit. Okay, all right. So, like I said, I'm going to Japan next week. I'm flying out Friday, the 26th. I'm flying out, and I'm gonna be there for about a week and a half, roughly. We're gonna do a show out there, so be on the lookout for that. We're definitely doing a show out there. So just do be on the lookout, because it's gonna be real. It's gonna be dope. Live from Japan. I'm gonna go live, hopefully, depending on how time, because I'm flying into the future when we go to Japan. So I just want y'all to be on the lookout for that show. It's gonna be a dope show. I'm gonna try to craft a very, very, very well crafted show. I'm gonna try to put together a well crafted show. So when it's time to release, it's gonna be crazy. So with that being said, what is culture? I want to talk about culture real quick. Last week we talked about Nip, rest in peace, rest in royalty, Nip, neighborhood Nip. And I was talking to a conspiracy theorist, and he said that Nip did not influence the culture. And I was like, what exactly is the culture? What is culture to you? Now, I never really got that answer, but as he was kind of explaining how Nip didn't influence or impact black culture, and he was throwing out things like, oh, what, he got a barbershop, he got T-shirts, and he experienced the culture. Nah, I got Yeezys. Yeezys is doing more for the culture than what Nip did. I'm like, are you serious? Like, if we look up the numbers, first of all, what is culture? Let's see what culture is. Culture is, the first definition is the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. So, again, it's the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. Or two, the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. So, now, when we're talking about that, think about what Nip did, all right? The man he employed, I think it was 41,000 people throughout his tons and tons of investments when it pertained to business and all that good stuff. And after all his investments and things of that nature, here goes his investment wheel. So he employed, hired, assisted, or impacted 41,369 people over his span of having his money, probably starting in 2013. Yep. Starting in 2013 till the day of his demise, which actually is still going, so indefinitely. So until the present, since 2013, he's employed 41,369 people whether it's at a barbershop or at his weed dispensary or at Vector 90 that he invested in, or his store, the Marathon. I mean, even if he owned the plaza, so technically all of them is his employees because he's given somebody an opportunity. Listen to this though. He's given a business owner an opportunity to rent out a space from him to then employ other people. So indirectly, he's still employing those people that the business owner that's paying him for that space is employing. So that number can possibly be more if you look at it in that case. But through all these investments, Nip's projected value of all the investments, including his tech investments, community investments, and lifestyle ventures, amounted to $210,413,500. Now tell me that's not for the culture. What has Kanye did besides create a line of luxury clothing to better assist in the culture of I would just say Black America, African people, right? Like when we're talking about culture, we have to understand that culture is not one dimensional. It's multidimensional. Whether you got a T-shirt line on the corner, whether you selling it from a booth, whether you a vendor, whether you own a plaza, whether you own designer level quality shoes, no matter how you affect the culture or choose to engulf yourself in the culture, you're doing it for the culture, right? For the collective culture. It's not one person that can influence the culture. It's multiple people influencing the culture. Going back to the Black Wall Street mindset, right? Each person influenced that culture in so many different ways. If you go to different countries, whether whether it's like Ghana or Congo or Cairo or Nigeria or Ethiopia or wherever else. I don't know why I was just naming African countries, but I mean, whatever. I'm with that. But if you go to all those different countries, the people influence the culture collectively. Going back to that first one, achievement regarded collectively. Collectively, you influence the culture. You create the culture. So Nip influenced and helped maintain the culture that we're trying to build or we've already built. That's what he did. So when we're talking about, how we impact the culture, I'm impacting the culture right now because I'm providing us one thing that Nip said in dedication. He talked about how the Black man knows that he's great, but nobody left him a platform to explain it. Like, he know that he's great, but he can't claim it because nobody left him platforms to explain it. Like, I'm leaving a platform for all of us to explain how great we are, to show how great we are. Audio, video, videography, photography. This is a space to where we can collectively come together and create something great. Whether you see it like that or not, that's an impact to the culture. Because one of the reasons why I created Static Vibrations Network is because we create so much media. Like, we're practically media. We are. We create trends. We set trends. We do all these different great things, from the music industry to the photography industry to the videography industry to like the film industry, all this stuff. We do so many great things. We create great art. We are great artists, but we don't control anything. So creating Static Vibrations Network and partnering with different, other media companies or different photographers or different videographers and collabing to create something great, that's giving back to the culture. That's reestablishing and reinforcing the culture that we need to be building, that Black Wall Street mentality. Down in Black Wall Street, they always helped one another. It was never a time where they did not help one another. If a house, one of my favorite stories to tell is if a house burnt down in Black Wall Street, the community moved that family into a different house. The community helped build that house from the ground back up, and then moved that very family back into their house. That is crazy culture. That's the culture. That's called communal living. Communal living is when I'm gonna give y'all the official definition. Um, but communal living in a nutshell is when it's the way of life in the African continent. Basically communal living is when you live together no matter what. You know that saying, it takes a village to raise a child. That's what communal living is. Communal living is when you work together within your community. You have shared goals, you have shared food, you have shared ideals, you share the land, you share policy making. It's not one head over. It's everybody's together. We about to make this happen. Let's sit around this fire and figure it out. Okay, well maybe they're not sitting around the fire, but let's sit around this round table and figure it out. That's what communal living is, and that's what Black Wall Street embodied. That's what Little Africa embodied. So now, so that's why I said I impact. Excuse me. That's why I said I impacted the culture. I'm impacting the culture right now, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, because I'm creating a platform to which we can express ourselves. Just like how Nip said. Like now I'm putting the platform here. All you got to do is come in and put in the work, and everything is gonna fall into place. I promise you, everything is gonna fall into place. But we have to have those selfless people that don't care about what other people think, that don't care about the stereotypes about the Black community. Because one of my biggest pet peeves on my journey to rebuilding Black Wall Street and the Black Wall Street mentality is the people that have the power to kind of influence that growth and that influence the growth and just to push forward, has the mentality of, I can't work with those people. I can't work with Black people. I really can't because they're unprofessional, or they're always late, or they're always this and they're always that. That negative, those negative stereotypes and connotations about Black people. Well, Black people are late, but guess what? In the African culture, time is not a end all be all. Being on time is a European trait, is a European practice, right? So being time constraint, like being on a time constraint or being punctual, is a European practice. In Africa, whether you're 5 minutes early, 5 minutes late, 10 minutes early, 10 minutes late, you're still welcome into that space. If you don't believe me, read Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. Dr. Brene, no, why did I just say Brene? Joy DeGruy, Dr. Joy DeGruy, she spoke on that in her book, and first of all, it's a good read. I recommend everybody read that, especially the ones who have that mindset of Black people is this, Black people is that. I can't support Black-owned businesses because they always late, they not professional. Read that book, because that's gonna shed some light into why you feel that way, and why you can't, for the life of you, integrate yourself within your own within your own community. You have to integrate yourself outside the community while you're advocating for the community. My personal opinion, that's backwards. You should be able to integrate yourself with the community, speak within the community to the community, and help them get over those humps. Because at the end of the day, there's a mental brainwashing aspect to the very things that you are complaining about on both ends. So we have to really become objective to how we interact with each other and how we view Black-owned establishments as a whole. Because at the end of the day, white people, Jewish people, which they are white, Arab people, they're late. They have bad business. One of my favorite restaurants to go to, one of my favorite Hots restaurants to go to, Westridge Hots. I've seen them be blatantly rude to people. I mean, like hanging up on people, not answering the phone. I mean, they got Matter of fact, they restaurant got shot at one point because they were being rude to the customers. So they came back and shot up the restaurant. I mean, they didn't hit nobody. They just shot at the restaurant. But my point is, all these different establishments does the same things that you're complaining about the black establishments, which leads me to my next point. What are we expecting? What is our expectations when we go into predominantly black spaces, predominantly black establishments? What are our expectations? I can't talk today. Like, what are we looking for? Because I guarantee you, if you write those down, those things that you're looking for down, and you say, you write those things down, and you legitimately look at them, you're looking for more out of the black establishment than you are any other establishment. Chinese people, white people, Arab people, all them people, you're looking for way more from the black people than the rest. That's why you could settle for the rest of them and not for us. Think about that for a second, and I'll debate anybody on that one, because it's not one black establishment that I've went into, and I probably got like slow service, but I got slow service from McDonald's the other day when I was doing Uber yesterday. Mad slow service. I'm just waiting in line, and the manager's white, so that's a white establishment. Feel me? Like, you get all this stuff. You get the same stuff that you complain about black businesses and establishment doing from the white establishment and all the other establishments. And we know that for a fact because there's 10 times more other establishments than black establishments. Let's talk about it. So like I said, I'll debate anybody on that one, because at the end of the day, we're feeding into our own lack of generational wealth when we take those stances on black-owned businesses, establishment, and just interacting with our own people, which is why I have this show, because at the end of the day, we're about to rebuild Black Wall Street. This is the Black Wall Street podcast, and we're going to rebuild all of that. One step at a time, one business at a time, one relationship at a time. So how do you influence, how do you affect the culture as a whole? I already talked about it. We start to put into the culture. I just read a dope article about, I forget what college it is, but a college opened a all-black news platform. Bro, I'm about to look it up right now. But an all-black news platform, that is big on the culture. Big. Why? Why? Because we don't own our media. We allow them, corporate America, white corporate America, to basically depict us. I was listening to Pimp a Mockingbird, and one of my favorite quotes that he said in Black of the Berry, the Sweet of the Juice. I think it was Black of the Berry, Sweet of the Juice. I mean, the Black of the Berry. He said, "Vandalize my perception, but you can't take style from me." Right? Vandalize my community, making a killing. They do this, gentrification. They vandalize in my community. Historically, vandalizing the community was redlining, taking resources, not allowing resources to come into our community. But they make a killing because you have they can put way more resources into their own communities. They're making a killing, putting those very resources into their own community and profiting off of our collective ignorance as a community. Vandalize my community, making a killing. Vandalize my perception, but you can't take style from me, right? Vandalizing my perception. Break that down. Vandalizing perception means that they have the ability to take a black face, whatever that black face is, and write whatever script, whatever story behind it. So then the perception of me as a black man is skewed to the average American, to the average white American. Not even white, just the average American, period, because it's black people, black young youth. I work with the youth, black youth that have these skewed visions, these skewed perceptions of black people as a whole. Matter of fact, when I was doing my little SEL group, social emotional learning, for y'all that don't know, at my school, and we was talking about gangs, and the perception was gangs kill gangs. gang members kill gang members. I mean, yes, that's true. But I was like, well, do anybody know the actual origins from the Crips and the Bloods? And, they said no. And I explained it to them. Crips mean community revolution in progress. And Bloods mean brotherly love over destruction and depression. Over brotherly love overrides oppression and destruction. I told them that, and I told them they were community groups meant to help the community, beyond the red and blue. And they literally was like, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." Well, I said, "Well, yeah, because again, going back to the line, they have the ability to vandalize our perception, but they can't take the style from us because at the end of the day, they use the very things that they denounce within their own establishments. For example, how do gangs run? How do the streets run? If you put those same values, take the values of the streets, don't snitch, be loyal, be faithful, rep your set, all that stuff, right? No matter what set you claim type joint, if you take all that out and drop that in politics, you drop that in the policing system, you drop that in the criminal justice system, it's the same difference. They're not telling on each other, so they control law and they write policy, which is the crazy part. So if they're not telling on each other and they writing law and they writing policy and all this stuff, then you would think, like you would have to, you just think about that. They write law, they enforce law, they revise policy, they revise law, they push out different community objectives, initiatives, all these different things, and they operate as a gang. Because the legal definition of a gang is more than one person that wear the same colors, uniforms. Blue for the cops. They all wear the same uniform. Judges all wear the same uniform. You know what I'm saying? Like technically, the world is full of gangs. Full of gangs. Just some are legal, some are not legal. You know what I'm saying? So when we're talking about, perception, and we're talking about vandalizing perception, yeah, they're denouncing and vandalizing our perception on a daily basis because they control, the media outlets, the major media outlets and things of that nature. But at the same time, they're using the very things that they're using to vandalize and take away from our people, our culture, in their own establishments. Now, let's stay on vandalizing the perception still, because I want to talk about something real quick, because this guy was huge on the culture. I don't care what nobody says, whether it's Dr. Umar Johnson or, the critics, but Obama was big, huge on black culture. Just for the imagery of, right? I'm not saying that every black person that's running for president, it will become president, or that we'll have, multiple more presidents in the future, which I hope so. But the way that politics is set up, it's fake. It's all fake anyway. But anyways, so let's talk about this man. He did for the culture that nobody else since John Henson has done, and John Henson don't even get the credit. That was the first president of the United States, not George Washington. George Washington was a slave owner. The first 15 presidents was a slave owner, actually. Slave owners, I would say. But anyways, so Obama, we know the man as he's the GOAT. He's the president that wore the tan suit and everybody went haywire because he was too swaggy on, Capitol Hill. He was too swaggy for the White House. He was too swaggy for his staff and all that stuff. So, but yeah, so the Mueller report came out about, Russia's interference in the elections. And apparently the Obama administration knew about it prior to the 2016 election or something like that. And apparently they're saying that the Mueller report looks bad for Obama because Obama knew about it and he did nothing about Russia's meddling in the democracy. Now let's talk about this for a second, because now we're taking a prominent, and I mean to this day, a prominent face to the culture and what he's done and what he is doing for the culture. The first president to not have a scandal built up against them since John Henson. The president that went in, he got stuff done to the best of his ability and left office on a clean slate. The man that's still giving back to the black community in some way, shape, or form. The man that's still connected with the people beyond his 8 years of tenure as the president of the United States. And the first thing CNN did once this Mueller report. Now we're not talking about how Trump worked with Russia and how the press secretary lied about why Mueller was fired, and we're not talking about how none of the stuff that the dirt that the Trump administration has been doing since Trump has got into office. We're talking about Obama not doing anything about Russia's meddling with the democracy, in spite of knowing about it. This is the power of this is literally the power of white media, because that's what it is, white media. White media vandalizing the perception of black culture. Obama is one of the faces of black culture. And they will do anything in their power to literally denounce black culture, belittle black culture, make it lesser than what it is because black culture is so strong, right? So, as I read through, the article, I'm like, yo, at what point did they decide, okay, we're not going to make this about Trump anymore because his Mueller report is out. We're going to make this about Obama because he knew about it in his 10 years president. Well, first of all, and then they try to say, like, it's because Obama wanted Putin to be on the nuclear arms deal, so all he did was, put financial sanctions on Russia. Well, that's something. What Trump did? Nothing. Feel me? Like, I don't know. I didn't read all of the article. I'm just commentating on up until when I stopped reading it, because it was kind of making me mad a little bit, because America is notorious for doing that. Notorious. So, but yeah, that's another real life, real current example of how they vandalize our perception, but they still can't take the style from us. Because at the end of the day, Obama not worrying about this. Obama chilling. He did his 8 years. He chilling, still impacting the community in his ways, doing what he do. So with that being said, it's like 37 minutes left, and or 37 minutes in, and I'm rolling. So who are some cultural influencers? I would at the end of the day, Kanye is definitely a cultural influencer within the black community. Jay-Z is a cultural influencer. Nipsey Hussle, rest in royalty, cultural influencer. Tupac, rest in royalty. Big, rest in royalty. Diddy, he's an influencer. I would even say Joe Budden, influencer. More so on the hip hop culture, but Joe Budden definitely. I'm missing people. But the names Dre, Cube, Ice Cube, definitely an influence on the culture because he controls a lot. Dame Dash, shout out to Dame Dash. Nick Cannon, shout out to Nick Cannon. Do I got some women influencers? Cause I'm only naming Beyonce. I would say she influenced the culture. Janelle Monáe, what she do for the culture is it's not concrete, but the abstract and how she influences the culture is crazy. How she carries herself, the way that she dresses, her music, it's just dope. Lauryn Hill is another one. Like Lauryn Hill and Janelle Monáe is some of the big women influencers to the culture, based just upon of how they carry themselves and how they deliver the culture, how they package the culture in their arts. It's big, it's huge. I wish that they would do something together. Like I that would be super dope. Erykah Badu is another influencer that I will put up there that influences the culture in some way. Who else? Like those are just some. Obama. I gotta say my boy Obama. Obeezy. I influenced the culture. Who are some people locally that influence the culture? Um, Dang, that's crazy. I can't even think of nobody that's like legitimately influencing the culture. Um, and openly influencing the culture. Like I am openly influencing the culture because I want us to all eat. That's why I created RoyalFlexTheBrand. It's my community youth development organization. That's why I created Static Vibrations Network, my media and broadcast production thing. Uh, Bridge Visions Media, man, or Bridge Video. Blah, 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 blah. I can't talk. Bridge Visions Photography and Videography. Um, that's just a subsidiary to Static Vibration Network. And I want the network to be the network. That's the umbrella. So now, since we do videography and photography, well, really me, I've been doing that. I had to create something, just create a different name than just the network, right? That's adding to the culture. That's adding to the overall, value of these investments, these businesses. And it's an initiative that I want to start that will literally directly benefit the culture 100%. I don't want to really drop the name right now, but I'll drop the hashtag LAI, LAI, and it's gonna be an initiative that creates a network, which I've already had. I already had this under RoyalFlexTheBrand, to where I wanted somewhere to go, and I wanted to build a network that will help fund the brand in order to outsource resources and things of that nature into the community, whether it's building houses, real estate classes, financial literacy classes, education classes, whether it's learning about education, learning about property tax, how it affects education, learning about how you can opt out on state test, learning about these different things that we don't know about. That's community youth development. Community youth development is a investment to the mind. It's an investment to the idea of feeding the mind with information that you don't know. Community youth development is taking away that ignorant component within the black community. That's how we rebuild the Black Wall Street mentality. Within Black Wall Street, nobody was ignorant. Everybody was educated, working together as one. So the LA initiative, I would say, LA initiative is basically it's a network that will help identify and showcase black-owned businesses around the world. Obviously, the goal is a worldwide initiative to where we connect businesses in Africa. Like I got this one dope business in Africa that I want to get some suits from. It's African, attire suits. It's out of Ghana, I think. And I forget what it's called. It starts with an A, but I'm gonna get some pieces from there. Like I legitimately is gonna get some pieces. I'm gonna email them. I'm gonna tell them my sizes. I'm gonna get some pieces. Jay Morrison. Oh, Jay Morrison is another person that influenced the culture. Jay Morrison, Dr. Boyce Watkins, even Umar Johnson. Yes, absolutely. David Banner. They influenced the culture. But anyways, yeah. So this network of businesses, the way that I want to do it is, I'm not even gonna get too much into it, but basically I'm gonna create this network. It's almost like We Buy Black online, where it was supposed to be a resource for us to go and look at black owned businesses and see like, oh yeah, this is a black owned business. Oh, we sell this. Oh, we sell this. Oh, we sell this, to go and order it. Now it's gotten so much bigger than what the idea was. They're opening a store down in Atlanta. Shout out to them. So that's pretty much how I want this to go. In a nutshell, this is not a kind of off brand to that. This is a completely different idea, but I see it going pretty much almost the same way, depending on how it catch. The LA initiative, to where it's going to be a network that will help identify and showcase black-owned businesses, around your city, wherever you are, because we don't know about them. So this is going to have an emblem, a window decal that'll go, in the window, that will basically verify that this is a black-owned business. Come and shop with us. verify customer service. It'll verify quality. It'll verify all that stuff. It's almost like the verified check on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's what it's gonna be. We're gonna start to verify Black-owned businesses so we can go and give back to our people. And then within that verification, I'm gonna literally try to meet with those owners and build rapport with those owners, so then we can start buying back our community. Next level, right? That's next level. I want to build those relationships. I want to hone the skills of each one of those relationships that I can build in order to buy back our blocks, buy back our streets, buy back our houses. There's no reason why there can be a white business district over in Park Ave where white people own all that property, own all those little, shopping plazas, can charge $1,200, $1,500 for a room, and we got nothing. And we literally like 4 blocks down and we have nothing. You can see the difference when you go from one side of Culver to the next side of Culver. I'm trying to switch that 100%. We buying back our houses. We're buying back our blocks, our corners. We basically taking after what Nip did. Nip in an interview in 2010 said that once he figured out that Slauson and Crenshaw was like the most important corner in the world, he said he claimed it. And that's what he did. He claimed that corner and he made it into a tourist district. Imagine that. A known gang corner. And he said, like, yo, this right here is the spot. Imagine saying that, yo, this right here is the spot. I'm going to have it one day. Slinging dope, getting arrested on that corner. Came back to own it. Own the whole corner. And now you got the whole square. Nipsey Hussle Square. Shout out to Nip. Neighborhood Nip. But that all those values apply. So with the LA initiative, we're definitely going to it's going to work. We're going to build something greater than what we've been building so far. We're going to build on what we've been doing so far, and it's going to be great. It's going to be super great. And that's how you influence the culture. That's why I call myself a cultural influencer, whether, people see me or not. I'm trying to get out there more, but at the end of the day, it's not about people seeing what I'm doing. It's about me doing what I'm saying I'm doing, right? It's about reinforcing my words. It's about meaning what I say and saying what I mean. I said what I said, right? So if I said I'm rebuilding Black Wall Street, then I'm rebuilding Black Wall Street. My goal is to sit down and meet with Jay Morrison. That's one of my goals. Because what will happen is that will kickstart a whole nother thing. Because Jay Morrison already doing the stuff that I want to do, right? As it pertains to influencing the culture. He already doing what I want to do. I mean, real estate, that's a pillar of wealth. Let's talk about the pillars of wealth. Real estate, stock market, business. I already got my business. I'm already starting with the businesses, and I already started my portfolio in the stock market. And I already know what I have to do to make real money in the stock market in a short period of time. But right now I'm not in the space to kind of do that. So I'm just, I got my little small portfolio to start. Real estate, I ain't really get into that yet. I'm slowly getting into it, but I haven't fully immersed myself in there. But, my bro, Dev, shout out to Dev, he's in the real estate. Cuzzo, Gerald, he in the real estate. We've been talking back and forth on that. So it's a matter of time. But Jay Morrison, that's somebody that we bring to the round table to help build with, right? He already got the Legacy Center down in College Park, Georgia, which is dope. It's Black owned, it's Black funded, and you get a return on it. As little as a $500 investment, and you get an 8% return plus some other returns that I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's dope. He's not just taking money from people and buying stuff. He's taking money from people and then guaranteeing you that you will make back money from that investment. And the more money you invest, the more money you will get back. The bigger your portfolio will get. That's next level. That's deep, bro. That's real deep. Shout out to Jay Morrison for doing that for the culture, for us. And his is called the Tesla Oklahoma Fund, the Tesla Trust Fund. Tesla Trust Fund, something like that. Tesla Trust Fund. Basically, he's still playing. It's playing off of the Black Wall Street down in Tesla, Oklahoma, in 1907. It was burned down in 1920. Not even 20 years. Feel me? So, but yeah, that's kind of what culture is. How you influence culture and cultural influences, and how they can kind of try to belittle and take away from our culture. So we got about 10 minutes left. And I really don't have anything else left. I mean, I've been doing it. I mean, we could talk about education a little bit right now. But I don't really have much else to say. So we might end this a little early this week. We might end this a little early. Because it's just me. This is special. And since I know I can do this now, I just start crafting shows and just start talking, because I could talk a lot. But I want y'all, let's recap. Let's recap. We'll take these little 9 more minutes to recap, and we're going to end at an hour sharp of this. Hopefully y'all still been engaged in the show. If you made it this far, appreciate you, because it's different just hearing my voice. It is really different just hearing my voice. So, this is how it's going to go. For colleges, I want you guys to understand that the goal is to rebuild or to generate generational wealth. And after reading that article and having the various conversations that I've had thus far, on the topic, college has been put in place, and it has the college industrial complex. Well, really any industrial complex, but specifically the college industrial complex has been put in place to legitimately halt any hope of building generational wealth. Why do I say that? Is because it's become so expensive, to which you will spend your life paying back those hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, just to break back even. And you working 40 hours, 80 hours a week just to make ends meet. So even in the article, I think the mom said that she's basically come to grips with she's gonna die with this debt. And that, to me, that just means that she became content within the idea of, I'm gonna be paying this debt back the rest of my life. That's not cool. I'm not paying no debt back. I've denounced school completely right now, because I refuse to go into debt and have to pay $800, $900 a month, or having them garnish my checks because I can't pay that money. I refuse. I'm doing everything that I need to do now, and if I need to learn anything, I will get a book and read. Because the reality of it is, these professors are here to assist you in understanding the knowledge, understanding the content. They're not really teaching you, you're teaching yourself. Think about it. The stuff that you retained is the stuff that you liked, that you took liking to, that you read extra on, that you read books on, that you spent extra time outside of the classroom to learn and to commit to memory. Your teachers didn't really teach you anything. They helped you along the way. They coached you along the way. So when we're talking about college, yeah, you get that degree, and you can get that degree from self-education, but some of our best and most successful people are self-educated. Self-educated. Didn't go to college. That's not for everybody, but they are our most successful millionaires, billionaires, influencers, cultural influencers did not go to college. They learned everything through practice. And I'm a sole believer in experience over college, because experience shows you way more and teaches you way more than any college course can teach you. College is supposed to enhance that experience, right? So you experience, let's stay in education for a second. You experience bad behavior, right? Or you experience a kid you experience a kid showing out because he doesn't understand the work. college comes into play to where you can individualize the lesson plan so then he or she can then understand the lesson better. Thus, they don't act out. Think about that. That right there is how college is supposed to help. That right there is not worth $50,000 a year. I'm sorry. It is not. I'm not sorry. But that right there is not worth $50,000 a year or a semester. Well, a year. 25 a semester. It's not. No. Not happening. You feel me? So when we talking about just college, HBCUs and all that stuff, I want y'all to understand and just think. When you get a loan, when you take out a loan, when somebody tell you to take out a loan, or buy a car or buy a house, what do they tell you to do? At least have 20% to put down so the interest rates is lower and it's just a overall better investment, right? The process goes smoother and things of that nature. I want everybody, to the best of their ability, to take that same mindset into college. If you can't pay 10%, at least 10% towards your tuition out of pocket, don't do it. Don't go. Find somewhere to gain that experience. Because going to college, rushing to college, is rushing to debt. Is rushing to deter you from generational wealth, making sure your kids' have money, that they don't have to be in the same position you are in. Because the goal is to live a better life than your parents, right? To enhance your life. Well, at this point, college is not enhancing your life. It's actually putting you in a digression. It's putting you backwards. And I feel like college should basically enhance the intellect that you already possess, right? Add on it. Grow with you. You should grow with the new information. You should not look for the new information to push you to grow. You should want to grow with the new information based off of the information that you already possess, right? That's the story of my life. At the end of the day, all my information, my expertise within the youth development field, within education, has came from practice, not from school. I got my associate's degree in business administration, not education, not none of that. So just understand that college is good, college is cool. I will never tell anybody not to go to college, but just be strategic in how you take out loans, because at the end of the day, it's a loan, and they don't care. They'll pay you back. The people just called me the other day like, oh, yeah, we need to talk about how you're going to pay back your loans now. They don't care about your advancement. They didn't call and say, oh, so did you find a job that, that you worked so hard to get your degree, or they didn't ask for none of that. They said, it's time to pay them loans. You better set up your payment plan, or, we're going to start garnishing your checks. Like, that's real. They have the ability to go into your account and take your money. But that's a whole nother conversation. So with that, and then, just culture. Be cultural influencers the right way, not the wrong way. Not objectifying your bodies, talking to women in any type of way, wearing any type of thing. I want you to influence. Literally influence. Affect the culture through positive influence. That's why I named the very people that I named, because they affect they affect the culture in positive ways. Whether it's Jay-Z getting, other rappers legal assistance, giving legal assistance, or just regular Joes, regular Joe Smoes getting, getting more than what Jay-Z has to offer. Dame Dash talking about black ownership, something that we don't understand. Nick Cannon got the put so many different comedians on through Wild 'N Out, and then he's doing the Cannon class up at Howard University, ironically. Which that's a dope show. I recommend anybody that's listening to go check that out. I check that out on a normal basis. But yeah, just influence the culture. While I'm doing over here, I'm working to influence the culture in my own way, and that's rebuilding Black Wall Street and the Black Wall Street mentality, one relationship, one business at a time. So with that being said, like I said, we're gonna be out of here in an hour, and we coming up on that hour. So y'all, stay true, stay royal, Stay loyal. Y'all already know. This is your boy. Y'all already know. Bring another set of ears for next week's show. This is RoyalFlexTheBrand's Introspective Insight Talk Show. I am KingDevDoe. And I'll see y'all next week because I'm going to be in Japan. So be on the lookout. Shannon loves you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Introspective Insight. Hope you come back next week.
Come back next week.